I really want to win this time, and I did.
In this period, so starting with this period around 73, 74, you're doing several major projects for television, even while you're still getting you back into the feature realm. I wonder if you can talk to me for a minute about scoring QB VII, which was one of the very first miniseries for television.
That was the first.
It was something like 6 hours of television.
It was 8 hours. 8 hours? No, it was 6 hours. It was long. I remember sitting and watching it in one sitting. It was long.
How did that come to you?
Just got a call from Doug Kramer. Asked me to do it. He had just seen Patton and wanted me to do this, and I was the story that I was very moved by, and it just it was a broad canvas, and I didn't even think in terms of television or moving pictures. It was just a wonderful story and dramatically, and I just loved doing it.
Did you get a big orchestra?
Yeah, we had a full symphony. Oh, I had a big one. I think it was 65.
Where did you record?
Rome.
Why?
Cheaper. I didn't make the decision. It was made by Columbia. Somebody that legally could record it abroad.
Being a miniseries, it must have been 2 hours or more of music. Do you recall?
A lot of music, a lot of different themes. I remember. I don't know. No, I think there was I think there was an hour and a half of music, which, considering the length of the show, wasn't that much music.
But still, was probably as much as you'd ever written for one project, right?
I think Sand Pebbles had close to an hour and a half of music. But it was at that time, was one of the most...
One of the things that I think was remarkable about that score was the choral effects that you were able to produce, I gather, mostly based on the text of the Kaddish. Can you talk about that? Why you took that approach and how you did it?
Well, Kaddish is the prayer for the dead, and we had 6 million. And
because this was a story about the Holocaust.
Yeah, and it was a way of musically trying to show respect and reverence to the horror of the Holocaust.
But they didn't just sing it. At times they whispered it.
Yeah, it became an effect. It was sort of like, again, I never can intellectualize why I do what I do. I mean, it just seemed sort of ironic that you're going through the ghost of the camps to hear the voices of the dead whispering, the words of the Kaddish. I guess that was basically what, looking back in hindsight, I think that was my instincts did. I have to go by my instincts in whatever I do. They're much more reliable than my conscious mind.
I gather there was no budgetary concerns about this. I mean, because the fact that you used a symphony orchestra and a choir was something you'd never gotten a review.
No, but this was, as you say, this was the first in what became I guess a trend. I guess in the miniseries. It was, don't forget we were recording abroad, and it was much cheaper in those days. So money was saved there. And I guess, I never got involved in that part. They said, this is what I could have, and I did it.
Sandy Courage tells the story. I think Sandy may have worked on that project.
Sandy orchestrated, yeah.
He tells the story that you used the choir of the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah.
And he remembers being amused by the notion that the Sistine Chapel choir was singing the text of the Kaddish.
In Hebrew.
Well,
it was funny because I got sick. I got the flu or something, so I had to ask Sandy to rehearse the choir, and I had already recorded all the orchestra tracks, but I had asked Sandy to do the choir and at least rehearse them. And so I remember I got on my sick bed. My wife and I went over to some church or somewhere they were rehearsing, and there's Sandy, a Scotsman, trying to show these bunch of Italians how to sing in Hebrew. This was the blind leading the blind.
So
it was a very amusing incident.
That aired in 1974 and got you your second Emmy.
Yeah.